By the way, Bud is obviously a short name for...
No, that's my given name.
Really?
Yep. 2 D's on Bud.
No kidding. Well, we got that corrected. And you've been a native in the area all your life?
Yep.
Where do you live?
I live on the Four Corners right there in Flats by the church.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
So you're kind of within shouting distance of that, of the racetrack.
Yeah.
How did a Bud Yaeger and your brother Leo Yaeger and the family, how did they get, were you part of the actually creation of the racetrack? Do you remember the McNitts deciding whether or not they wanted to have that?
No, they was just talking they were going to start one, all, and we all said, well, no, we'll fix cars up, then what you're going to have, you know.
Right.
And they said, well, you just take a car off the road, fix it up, and race it. That's all.
Right.
There's no modification, only just rollover bars. Yeah. And that's it.
Did you have a sense that this was like 1956 when it first got started?
Yep.
Yep. And did they invite drivers from around? How did you know that the track was going to be started, or was just...
Yeah. Just word of mouth, and in the paper they said they was going to try to start what they call a jalopy track in Watts Flats.
Right.
And word of mouth, and the next thing you know, they got it down and roughed out, and said they was going to race one Sunday, and a bunch of us went up, and a few more come the next Sunday, and a few more come the next Sunday.
Were you there at the first race?
Yeah.
What did you think when you first came down that entryway onto the track and you kind of went around the track for the first time? What'd you think of it?
Oh, I didn't know. I knew it was going to be wet when you went into the creek.
So close your eyes for me, Bud, and kind of do a lap mentally around the track, and tell me what the track was like.
It was just just through the trees and that. They had a path through and down the other side through the creek on the other end, and you went through the creek twice.
So you would start literally, there's a bank.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the front stretch, right?
No. It's the bank there between the road and the track. That was the front stretch. That's where the people parked with their cars.
Okay.
And sat on the bank and watched. But we was up behind what they have. Well, it'd be the people's garages.
Okay.
Garage now. That's where we had our pit up in there.
Okay.
Then we come down, and then they go around the track and get around on the flat there and line up.
Okay. And so you literally would come through turn one as a flat, and then you go across the creek.
Yep, and up a bank.
Up a bank.
And cross the back straightaway. And turn 3, come back down through the creek again, and come out of that into turn 4 and back up straightaway.
I'm just trying to think, the first year, was that a running creek?
Yeah.
I mean, so you literally were going through it?
Yeah.
There's no bridge?
No.
The dirt and the mud must have been quite extensive.
Well, you'd stick your head out the window until you get to the creek, then you pull your head back in, go through the creek, and then stick it back out again so you can see where you're going.
Okay. They're just coming down. I'm thinking of coming down the hill on 3 and 4. I mean, as you're coming down the hill, all of a sudden you hit a creek, and you got to turn. I mean, that's got to be a little dangerous there. I mean, a little difficult.
Oh, you made it, or else you went on in the creek up above. That's all. Be on the creek a little bit off the track.
Yeah. Did that happen frequently?
Oh, yeah.
So those first couple of races, what was the conversation among the drivers themselves about the track conditions?
Well, they just said, no, you better get your car ready because, if you hit that water and you aren't ready, you're going to drown out, Yeah.
How many cars in the first couple of races, do you remember how many there would have been?
No, I don't.
Was it a lot, or just...
Well, there's probably, 15, 20, Bud.
Yeah. And the owners of the track at that time were who?
Howard McNett and Don McNett.
Tell me about Howard McNett. What was he like?
Oh, he's an easygoing fellow. He'd, if you want something, go to him, or even Don even, talk with them. They'd try to get you what you wanted to do, within reason.
Were they race car drivers elsewhere, or
no?
Just sort of took the land and decided they'd do something in Watts Flats.
Yeah, that was her grandmother's land,
Okay,
and she just donated it to them.
okay. And the races, what days were the races?
Sunday.
Sundays. And normally, what kind of crowd would you have for something like that?
Well, you'd have a decent crowd, you know, maybe 75 or 100 people.
And you, how long did you race there, Bud? Was it the entire time, 56 through 60, or just a couple years?
Yeah, no, I raced her pretty well all season. Time they was going, you know.
Right.
And
How old were you at the time, Bud?
how old was
When
I?
you started in '56.
22.
And your brother, how old was he at the time, Leo?
About 27.
Oh, you're younger. Okay. Why do you suppose the McNitts picked that location for the track? I mean, uphill, downhill, through a creek. Was there any other place that they could have laid out a track that would have been flatter or with less obstacles?
Well, they was thinking about the Satan Bowl of Death motorcycle track over on Big Tree Road, where they went down down the bank, through the creek, back up the other side, and back in, you know.
That was a very popular track, and they
Oh, yeah.
tried to
They-
make
well, they-
theirs like
They
Satan
raced,
Bowl of Death.
they raced motorcycles on it.
Did they ever race motorcycles at Rollerball?
No. No.
Did you have any much success there at the Rollerball? Do you recall?
No, there was what, 4 or 5 of us in together on about 5 different cars, and we'd, you know, and I had my tractor up there to pull them out of the creek if they got in the creek and couldn't get out, or if they got rolled over and smashed up. And
You're the tractor guy. Well, there's a lot of movies of you then, because there was a lot of tractor action in the movies that we got from Blinky. So you're covered. What was the most common? I mean, these cars seem to be stalling out. Were there accidents, or just simply the engines gave out?
they'd get wet.
They get wet.
So what did you do to try to keep that from happening?
Put shellac around the spark plugs.
What's that mean to a non-motor guy like me? How would you do that?
You got a little dabber there, you stick it in a bottle and go around your top of your spark plug and your wires, and then around the same way around your distributor, and that seals the water so the water can't get down in there, and then you seal around your distributor so it can't get into the distributor.
So that was a little trick of the trade.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell everybody that either.
Well, since you were competing against your fellow neighbors in the area, what were some of the other tricks of the trade?
Oh, almost anything you want, anything you figure you get, do and get away with, that's what you done.
I noticed that they actually refer in a couple of the early articles of rules and regulations that they had up there. Did they have many?
Not that I know of.
Or not that you followed, apparently.
Oh, I followed the rules, but no.
Now, your brother also raced. By the way, what was your car number? You remember?
I think it was 52.
52. And I remember your brother specifically, Leo, and he also had a sort of this riding on top of the hood and through a crates of fire. When did he do that for the first time? And what caused him to possibly want to do that?
Well, somebody told me they ought to get something more exciting for the fans to watch, so they thought, well, he says, well, we'll do that then. We'll have a wall of fire and I'll go through it.
All right. Tell me how he would set that up. I mean, explain the situation.
We had 2 posts way out the side, and then you had boards nailed across the face of them, but you had boards nailed on the back side.
Right.
And they wasn't always all nailed all the way through.
Right.
So when they hit them, they'd fly out. And then he had a helmet on,
And what was Leo doing at this time?
on the hood.
On the hood. So somebody was driving. And how would he be strapped to the hood?
He wouldn't. He was just laying there free.
Okay.
Did the McNitts pay Leo to do this crazy stunt?
I don't know. I've never seen any money change hands, but I don't know if they did or not.
Probably as much money as will be changing hands tonight, you know, for this performance. How many times would he do this? Did he just do it a couple times, or was it
Well, a lot of times twice a year, maybe 3 times, you know.
So he'd be literally grabbing the hood with a helmet on, head first. Somebody would be driving the car. They'd go through. Now, there is a scene in the movie where that happens. You actually see a car, and I'm assuming Leo's on the hood, and the next thing you do is see the car in the ditch. I mean, between 3 and 4. So he's coming in the opposite direction, goes through the wall, and somehow there's the car in the ditch. Hopefully that wasn't the same Leo going through. The guy couldn't stop. Next thing you know, he's in the ditch, and there's Leo in a bank swing. Did that ring any bells? Would that?
No, because usually done them down on this front straightaway between turn 4 and turn 1 and 4.
Yeah, so at least this scene looks like they're coming in the opposite direction during the coming up from 1 to 4, and then you see a car that's in a ditch between 4, actually 4 and 3 if you were going backwards.
Did the McNitts do any other kind of stunts to try to liven up the action?
I don't know if they did, no.
Do you know what a chain race is? I read about that in one of the articles in the Post-Journal, that a chain race was held.
It doesn't matter like about. Did they have powder puff races?
Oh, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was that like one of the set aside just one race for the women?
Mm-hmm.
Was there over time? Was there one of the females who was the best powder puff racer?
No, whoever happened to get the brakes was like the way it was. Whoever had the heaviest foot in there to do the best. That's.
We've had a chance to talk to Jim Scott and Skip Furlow and Blinky, and often got the image that it was sort of a survivor's race. Whoever was kind of the last man running, especially during the finals, the feature races. Is that a fair analysis? Yeah, but did you find yourself in the winner's circle at all?
No, not too often.
Yeah. What were the economics of it all? How much would you pay to bring in your car for an event? Did they charge you $5 or so to bring the car in for the day?
I think it was $5 for each driver to come in with his car.
And what kind of purse was there? You remember?
I don't know. They paid a percentage. That's all I know.
Yeah. So, and would they pay for the heats and then the? Yeah, that.
Bud, did you go to any other race tracks other than Rollerball? There were a lot of tracks in the area. Did you compete at other ones?
Oh, yeah, we raced at Jamestown. We raced at Skyline. We raced at Frewsburg.
Now, had you raced before Rollerball? I mean, were you on a circuit some of the other racetracks before that? No. So your first race would have been at Rollerball.
Mm-hmm. We raced at Sherman, Cool Road.
How many years did your racing career span? You said you started in '56. Do you remember about how many years you raced?
I don't know. I think about 57 or 58 when I quit. I got married and then my wife said no more of that. No.
Yeah, that's what happens to a lot of great men.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that she didn't like about it?
Well, nothing I didn't like about it. No.
No, she. Why didn't she like it?
She figured get hurt.
Okay.
Had you ever been hurt racing?
No.
But if you had to answer the question, the funniest thing I ever saw while racing, either to yourself or somebody else, what would you say?
I don't know. There's quite a few times you'd stand there and laugh, watch some of these guys what they do. You know, it's,
Like what?
you can't really pick a single out one thing. You know.
Yeah.
Who were some of the better racers that raced at Rollerball during your time there?
Well, Fred Eggleston, he had good years. Keith over the Sugar, he had, he had good winning years in there.
Who's that you're talking about? Keith?
Keith.
I know that I know because I was there a couple times when Red McNitt would actually go up on the bank and roll the car over. Were you ever there when that happened?
Yeah.
What was that gimmick all about? Could you just
Showing people he could roll them over if he wanted to.
Yeah. Was that one of the special events that they advertised?
Yep.
Anything other special events that they had, Bud, that you recall?
No. Just,
Your brother going through a wall of fire and Red McNitt rolling over, a powder puff, and seeing you race. I guess that probably was a draw. Did your family come and watch you guys? And
oh yeah.
now, when you had Yaeger versus Yaeger, did you get pretty serious about this?
Well, yeah. You wanted to beat him just as bad as you wanted to beat me.
Did you win more than he did?
No.
No?
No, he was bigger than I was. I didn't dare to win too many.
I do recall your brother being pretty big. Was that? I mean, he was a big guy. Was that a hindrance for him to race and just getting in and out of cars? I mean, how long did he race?
Oh, well, probably 57, 58.
Okay.
That's about the time the track closed. And
He didn't race after that.
no.
Why do you think the track closed?
We got so there's too many other tracks around it, too much more speed than that, and what they could handle there, and you couldn't handle them,
Right.
And so they just dropped off there and went to these here like Skyline, and about the same time State Line that opened up.
And you had when State Line was hold its 100 lap races, you weren't kind of saying, "Hi, honey, can you let me just do this one more time?"
No,
Didn't have guts enough, huh?
I got enough, but I just didn't,
No, I'm talking about your wife.
Oh,
I'm sure you had guts. Trust me. Yeah. No. In the early days, I noticed that they really had to spend a lot of time with kind of working with the track, and ultimately, as I understand it, they actually put a bridge over the creek. What kind of bridge was that?
plank.
Just plank? Both ends? Okay.
Finally, on one end for a while, we still had to go through the upper end, but then after a while they planked the 1 and 2 turns.
As you're going up 1, 2, and then up on the upper straightaway, obviously if you got on the inside too much, you fall right off. Did that happen much?
No.
No. Where did you pass? Was it just on the front straight?
No, you can pass on the back straightaway.
Yeah? There was enough room there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can pass in the turns.
Okay. Were you an aggressive driver, Bud?
I don't know, I was aggressive, but I'd take chances.
Yeah. What was your car?
Ford,
What year?
I don't know what, 41, 42.
If you had to go one race around just against one person, who would be the person you really would not want to race against? The guy that would sort of kind of move you around a little bit.
But Van Tassel.
But there you go. That's a perfect lead-in. Why?
He was aggressive.
Was he? Was Bud Van Tassel aggressive? Huh? Did you ever race against a guy named Litzinger?
Yep.
What was he like? Was he mean also?
Stan Stevens.
Stan Stevens? Now, Stan went on to some success at State Line, didn't he? Were there other racers who went on to some success at State Line? during your era?
It probably is, but I can't think of them right now.
Do you have any names, Randy, that in your that earlier era?
Oh, Johnny Whitehead,
Yep,
Blackmer,
yep.
Jim Scott,
Mm-hmm.
Furlow,
Yep.
Rader, Stan Stevens, yeah.
What
When we had Jim here last week, Jim Scott, he was talking about a bad accident that he was in, knocked out his front teeth and so on, and he was telling a story about riding the ambulance and Red Walters being in there with him as well, having been involved in the same accident. Do you remember any, what you'd call bad accidents?
No.
So despite the obstacle nature of the track, it was a relatively safe racetrack.
There's a couple of pictures that may bring back some memories, Bud.
How did you transport your car to the track, Bud?
Hook it behind my tractor.
With a chain?
Yep.
So you put somebody in the car and you were
Yeah.
on the tractor and
Lots of weeks I'd take three racers behind me up the racetrack.
three.
Just
Chained together? 3 cars chained together behind a tractor?
Yeah.
How far, I missed the beginning, how far from the racetrack was your house?
Probably maybe 3 mile.
That's quite a caravan. Holy cow.
The law enforcement ever give you trouble about towing 3 cars behind a tractor on the...
How could they? Didn't have to have no license on it.
Well, you did take up the whole road when you're coming down.
You know, you'd all right in line right there.
There.
Of course, back then, see, traffic wasn't heavy as it is now.
Right. This is- Where's home for you, Bud? Where did you grow up?
Mostly right in Watts Flats. Before that, Shrewsbury, Guernsey Hollow, Wheeler Hill, Robin Hill, up in the wilderness.
Right.
And Dad bought a farm in Panama, and that's where I finished my growing up and went to school.
So you went to school in Panama, right?
Yeah.
Graduated from Panama?
No, I graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, with pretty high honors, though. Oh.
How did Bud Van Tassel get interested in racing?
I wanted to get out and go to work and get rich, and I was half right. So I don't know. The track was running for probably 3 years anyway before I started. The neighborhood guys talked me into it.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's just what happened.
So how did you find your first car? Did you have something on the farm that you?
No, I just went out and bought an old hunk of junk, put it together, and raced it.
What kind of hunk of junk did you buy?
It was a Chevy.
Chevy? What year? Do you remember?
Well, the first one was about a 46, I think. And I don't know, I went through 2-3 cars the first year, and then I got a 37 Chevy, and that seemed to hold together a whole lot better.
What did you have to do to sort of get it track ready?
The track up
No,
there?
no. To get your car so that it was ready for a racetrack.
Well, chopped the fenders off, put roll bars in it. We was all backyard mechanics, you know.
Right.
So,
Did you have to, for my safety, did you have safety belts? Did you have?
yeah, we had a seatbelt.
Yeah, did you? So the first time you go up, of course, you probably watched the races before you actually raced there. So actually gone there a couple of years to just watch the?
No.
No. So the first time you were there, or you just took your car out on the racetrack?
Yeah.
What did you think when you went around that racetrack for the first time?
I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. That's just what it was, too.
Yeah. Now this would have been what year? 1958? Do you recall? It started in '56.
Yeah, it was probably 58 then.
Who was running it at the time?
Don McNett.
Don McNabb. And the next year, 1959, did the McNitts run that also? Do you recall?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Blinky and Dick did it the last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about a normal day for you. Sunday morning, you get the car. How did you get it to the racetrack?
Just towed it behind the pickup truck.
You tow it there. You pay your $5 to get in.
It was $2 in them days, if I remember right.
$2, okay.
Then if you didn't win nothing, you got your $2 back.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked.
Yeah. How many cars would be a normal Sunday for you?
Oh, gee. I'd have to say at least 20, maybe more.
Right. And what would be a normal event? Were there heats, semis, and then the final? How would that work? Do you remember?
Well, they had 3 heat races, consolation, semi-final, and a feature.
Okay.
About how long was a typical Sunday afternoon? The races started at what, 2:30, maybe?
I probably, yeah,
And it lasted approximately.
till everybody went home, pretty much, you know. I don't know, this was 40 years ago. It's kind of hard to remember.
Try 50 years ago.
Well, I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out, Bud, was it a pretty tightly run program, or was it kind of loosely run and?
No, I think they run it pretty good, but you know, us guys that drove, we was all neighborhood guys pretty much. Heck, we was all friends, so we'd stand there and shoot the breeze for an hour afterwards.
Was there a starter? Was there a gentleman down there on the track as a starter?
Oh yeah, we had a flagman.
Yeah, that's what I mean, a flagman.
Yes, sir.
He stood where?
Just right about center in front of the crowd, right down beside the track, and
Did he stand on the inside of the track or toward the outside?
outside.
Toward the outside.
Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't elevated on a platform or anything?
No. And he probably weighed about 360 pounds and was as strong as a good-sized workhorse in good condition. So nobody gave him any problems.
Do you remember his name?
Sure, Leo Yaeger.
So Leo was the player?
He was the
Yes, he was.
When he wasn't
through
racing?
the wall.
No. Do you remember Leo going through that wall of flames?
Yeah? Yep.
Describe it. Bud did one version. What's your version?
Well, they had the thing built there and board and just dunked gas on it, set it on fire, and he just straddled the hood of a car and kermoosh right through it.
Did you ever have the itch to try that?
No, Leo had a harder head than I got. Way harder, I think.
I'm just trying to think what.
This guy was this Leo was a jack of all trades.
Gee, I know.
Flagman, racer, stunt driver.
Yeah, he pretty much was.
In addition, we talked about some of the other special events there were. Do you remember when Red McNitt would roll his car over? Were you there at that time? Was that?
Yeah. Somebody else did too, but I can't remember who it was. Just tried to roll it over, you know, run it up beside the bank. And
Yeah. So the idea they'd come out of like turn 4 and then go up on that bank, is that how that would work?
yeah, just run the car right up beside the bank until she flopped. But
Yeah. Did you have an itch to do that?
no, I did enough of that right on the racetrack.
Well, that's a good segue. Did you have experiences on the track which were meaningful to you?
Well, I guess it pretty much all was because it was just so darn much fun, you know.
Did you ever get hurt?
Nah, I cut my finger cleaning off the windshield once. Band-Aid took care of that.
So this is while you're driving?
No,
No.
never got hurt.
Okay. Now, was the track and the condition Bud talked about at the time you were racing, where you go through the water, or did they have the planks then?
Well, they had the planks in before I started running. I never run through the creek.
Okay. What kind of success did you have?
Kind of what?
Success.
About average, I guess.
Yeah. Who were the big racers when you were racing at that time? The guys that.
I'd have to say Johnny Whitehead,
Yeah.
Stan Stevens, Don Vandekoy. Them three guys were awful hard to pass.
Right.
How did they determine the lineups for the races?
I really don't think there was any special.
Did you draw? Did you draw for the heat
No,
races?
no.
And based on the heat races, is that how you were positioned in the final? So the winners would have been in the back of the pack?
I don't remember it being that way. I think we just went out and lined up and took off.
If you were the brother of the flagman, did you get a better starting spot than other guys?
I wasn't his brother, he was.
I know that. I want you to throw him under the bus right now, but
Oh, okay. Can't do that, he's almost as big as Lil.
And so I'm just trying to think. You got the 3 heats, the consolation semi. What was the consolation all about? If you didn't finish in the top 3 in the heats, then you raced in the consolation. Is
Yeah.
that what that was?
Yep, that's just what it was.
Okay. And yet everybody would race in the final, right? I mean, if your
Yeah.
car was running, you were out there.
Right.
Yep. Did you find that there were times when you had 30, 40 cars in a final?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got good crowd up there for just a little country track. Real good.
Yeah. With so many cars on the track, I'm amazed that you guys got through 25 laps or so. Just because there's so much commotion.
Oh, we was good at what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does the name Chuck Bacon ring a bell?
Bacon does, but I can't remember his first name.
I'm at one of the articles in the Post-Journal referred to Chuck Bacon as being the manager of the Rollerball Speedway in 1959. So far, no one seems to be able to confirm that.
I can't confirm it either.
All right.
We asked the question of everybody as you're going around the lap, or maybe the last lap, and it's just you and one other person. Who would that one other person you wouldn't want it to be? The toughest driver that you had to kind of pass.
The most reckless?
Yeah.
Probably Bud Yaeger, I imagine.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is going to be good for the tape, I'm telling you. This is good stuff. But aside from Bud Yaeger, was there a guy who had a reputation? Aside from Bud Yaeger, is there anybody who had a really reputation?
For dirty driving.
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think so. The guys all got along pretty good, really.
Who's the guy Skip? Both Skip and Jim talked about one guy.
I think they were talking more of their,
State line.
when they got to state line, they were
State line.
talking about Tom Dill.
Okay, yeah, okay. If you had to say, Greg, I'm Bud Van Tassel, and I raced there for 3 years at Rollerball, and the funniest thing I ever saw was, what would you say?
When Red Magnet beat me for the flag going backwards.
Okay, tell us more.
I remember that very clearly. I don't know if it was a heat race or consolation or what it was, but he was in first spot. I was in second. Before he got the flag, he spun out, and I come through a big cloud of dust, and all of a sudden, there he was right there, and I hit him and drove him right past the flag. He got the victory. I'll never forget that.
Sure.
Were either one of you able to continue to race after that, or were your cars ruined?
No, mine still run. His quit after he spun out. That's why he was sitting there. And
You finished them off.
oh boy, did I! I hit him harder than I ever hit anybody. But he was facing right towards me.
Yeah.
He really didn't do the car much harm because we had, guards welding the front end there. But he crossed the finish line first, backwards, so therefore he won the race.
Well, sir, he didn't share any of the prize money with you, did he?
No. Girl, we didn't get much in them days anyway, so it don't matter.
Did you ever find yourself winning a feature? Do you remember? What?
One.
One?
Yeah, and it was right towards the last that they run, but I can't remember just for rollable calls.
I've got you winning a feature in, let's see, 1960 on June 5th.
I don't remember when it was, but I do remember I won one feature in all them years of driving a Chevy. I did that with a Ford.
And, that gentleman, Vanderkoy, finished second, and Marty Rader finished third.
Yeah, I remember Don Vanderkoy. I didn't remember Marty. That's the only time I ever won a feature.
What day was that?
June 5th, 1960.
Okay. I was looking for the looking for the headlines here. Rollable opener won by Van Tassel. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bud Van Tassel shook off a decade-long jinx to outrun a field of 15 in the 25-lap feature event, which marked the reopening of Rollable Speedway here yesterday. Although a constant competitor at Rollable, Van Tassel had never scored in a feature event until yesterday. And even then, he had to come back after flipping his car during the first heat. In the main event, he won a four-way battle from Don Vanderkoy, Marty Rader, and Bernie Jury, who finished close behind him in that order. Van Tassel was one of three rollovers. Walters would have been? Waters? Walters. Red Walters of Jamestown and Skip Furlow of Celeron went over during the semifinal. So that's the event, right here.
Yeah, I won one feature. I remember it was towards the tail end of things somewhere.
But you rolled your car over in the heat race.
Yeah.
Jeez. What other interesting, what story haven't we asked you about? You look like a guy who's got stories, bud. I don't know what the feeling is, but I just feel like it.
Well, I'm getting kind of old and kind of absent-minded, so I can't remember most of the stories.
Well, neither can we.
Oh.
Just make it up.
I don't know.
How old are you now, bud?
78. Well, I'll be 78 in January.
78. And what's your given first name?
Leroy.
Leroy. Okay.
Yeah, that's what people call me when they're mad at me.
Did anybody ever keep track of the press releases and pictures of you?
No pictures, but Blinky had them newspapers he had made out here. I got one of them home.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it seems you got there.
Yep.
What did you do for a living?
Well, first part of my life around a drop hammer down to Proto Tool for years. Then I went to dump truck and I didn't like that because they closed. But I always did cut logs off on my spare time, so I just went cutting more logs and I'm still cutting the doggone things. So.
You have a family?
Hmm?
Do you have a family?
Yeah? Yeah, raised 9 kids.
9.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not Amish.
It must be Catholic, though.
Not that either, I don't think.
Hey, golly.
Wow.
Did you race right up to the end, Bud? 1960. Look, you were obviously there.
I think so. Yeah, we're awful close to the end.
Did you have a sense of what kind of caused the demise of Rollerball in 1960?
No,
No?
none whatsoever.
Did you go to State Line? Did you race up there?
I ran up there a couple of years, and that got to the point where it just plain too darn expensive.
Right,
So.
right. Now, what did you race? What jalopy? The big
Yeah,
ones?
they called them sportsmen, I guess, but
Right.
it was jalopies.
So there was a time where you said, I can't afford it. I don't want to play in that world. And
Basically, yeah.
Did you race in any other tracks, Bud?
Oh, I ran up the Skyline, I think, once. And run down near Youngsville. I can't remember the name of the traffic, but the track.
3 Point. 3 Point.
That was only a couple times I was down here.
Yeah, it was called 3 Point Raceway. It was in Pittsfield. Is that what you're talking about? The Pittsfield track?
It seemed like this was right up on top of a mountain, Grunderville or something.
Oh, that was down in Warren.
Yeah, never ran there a couple
Yeah.
times, yeah.
Yeah, that was Dickey Bend was the name of the
Yeah.
racetrack. It was on the Grunderville Road.
I guess that's about it. I think that's about the only.
Did you have, after you kind of hung up your racing gloves in 1962, did the itch ever come back?
Well, thought about it, but I just never did.
Are you a race fan today? Do you watch races on TV?
Very
Motor
seldom.
races?
Very, very little.
If you had to say something good about Blinky Litzinger, could you?
Something good about Blink?
Yeah.
Hey, he drank a lot of coffee at my table. You're darn right. I can say something good about him.
Now, you guys all neighbors? I mean, did you all kind of socialize together?
A lot, yeah.
We're going to talk to the McNitts soon. Who else should we be talking to who were racers at Rollerball? Fred Eggleston was going to, I guess he couldn't come tonight, but Fred was on our...
Yeah, Fred was one of the first ones I thought of. Oh, quite a few of the guys are gone. Like Spike Smith run. Bill Smith, maybe he run up there a little.
How about any of the James brothers?
Yeah, Louis James.
He'd be a good one to talk to?
Sure he would. And I imagine he'd enjoy it too. Louis, and I think Don ran up there too, didn't he, Bud? Don James, Leroy, yeah.
Walt? Walt's dead. Probably hard to talk to him.
Well, Lily Dale's our next stop.
What's that?
Lily Dale's our next stop.
Okay.
Anything we're missing? I mean, I just... there's that ultimate story that says, gee, I wish Greg Peterson had asked that one story. Anything we're missing here, Bud? About the roll?
I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't think that one of us was there for the money. We were just there to have a good time,
Right.
you know.
Afterwards, did the beer come out? Was it sort of a social picnic type thing? The races are over and...
No, not too much.
Yeah.
Most of us had to go home and milk cows.
Yeah. Well, they've been great, Bud. I really, really appreciate
It's
you.
been fun for me too.
Yeah, well, we've learned a lot, continue to learn a lot, and sometime when you least expect it, you'll see a documentary and you'll be part of this.
Okay. I got a...
So, Al, where's hometown for you?
Jamestown, New York.
Jamestown. And is that where you're always from, Jamestown?
Yeah. Can't afford to move.
At some point, you found yourself at Watts Flats in the rollerball race. How'd that happen?
Yeah, mostly through Blinky Litzinger here.
Right.
And I ran with him. I ran up there about 5 times, I'd say 5, 6 times.
Right.
We run rollerball, and then when it rained out at the rollerball speedway, we used to go up there.
What kind of car did you have, Al?
At that time, I had a 39 Ford sedan.
Right.
It had a police interceptor motor in it.
What did you have to do to your car to get it?
Well, make sure it had good shocks and good handling
Right.
problems. You had to, if you didn't have that, you couldn't handle a car very well.
Right.
So there's so many guys that come up there in them days. You had to start from the back and work your way up. You know, and it was pretty hard.
Now, as you were visualize, if you will, a lap around that rollerball, because it's not your standard track under any signal.
No, it was different. It was, you had to go up the hill and then down a hill and come down a straightaway. That was where the flag was. And it was kind of bumpy there too, you know. It was a lot of fun, you know, different. It was different than most tracks.
Right. Now you actually literally, as you came into the track, you had to go across the creek.
I can't remember that,
Yeah.
to be honest about it.
So what years would you have raced there, Al?
Be around before, I think, around 50, 1950s, 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
There.
50, the track was open from 56 to 60, so it'd have been that time period.
Yeah.
What number was your car?
Well, I had quite a few different numbers. I had 15 and 5 was my numbers.
Right.
And that was about it.
There was a, in fact, I'm going to show you. This looks like number 5. Would this look like your car?
No,
No?
no. Mine was cut down in the door or something like that on the driver's side.
Right. So just,
Mine was a sedan.
okay. And as you remember going around the track itself and Blinky getting you to go up there, who were some of the good drivers?
Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since then, and I can't remember for sure who was, what their names are, you know. But
Do you remember any particular incident or anecdote driving around Rollerball that?
I remember one guy, I don't know, I think he tried to put me in a drink, and gosh, he worked down to Dawson, but I can't remember his name. He passed away here about 5 years ago. And Danny McCarty, his name was. And instead of me going in a drink, it was him, because he had a pond down below there, a ditch filled with water, I can remember. But it was just something to go to if the other track wasn't running.
Right, right. Oh, that's